everybody, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. I am Justin, here with Meelz, as we are staring the end of the year down. It's like 2 miles away.
It's the final quarter. This
Yeah.
is the period of the year where it's like, all right, everything matters until about December, maybe
Well,
11th.
I mean everything. Well, some people, everything matters until around November 22nd. Some So I mean, if you have if anybody has any invoices, anyone has any PTO requests, anyone has any budget, any reimbursements, any of that stuff.
Oh yeah, that goes for the A show stuff too. Like if you
Yeah,
guys have bought anything and need to be reimbursed, you need to tell me now.
yeah.
Or if you want time out, you need to tell me now.
We got to put that out in the world right now because some people will not be available.
Hey man, listen, it is what it is, man. How have you been? What have you been watching lately?
Well, I've just begun my 31-day excursion. As you all know, I watch 31 horror movies. I mean, sometimes more every October. So if you want to check out the list that I've currently have for that, you can check that out on my Twitter. I think I have it pinned.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a lot of cool stuff this year. You want to see the rules that I have for this.
Yeah, please. Yeah. What's the rules you have for yourself?
So no, it's a worldwide kind of movie cinephile type of thing. It's called a Hooptober, and it's like every year they have like certain guidelines and parameters for people to make a list. So this year the parameters were 6 countries or movies from within these 31 movies, 6 of them from 6 countries, 8 different decades, all the films from a horror franchise with at least 4 entries, one film by Wes Craven, one film caused by or worsened by weather, one film starring a black woman, 3 films from New World Pictures, 4 Italian films, 2 horror comedies, 2 films made primarily or entirely in Texas, 1 film that exists in at least 2 available cuts. Yes, 1 film from 2011, 1 film from 1984, one Michelle Soavi film, one Robert Wiene film.
And you've got these all figured out.
Yes, other than the
Okay.
6 countries was tough. So because here's the thing, I didn't do it all quite to the rules because there are a couple of movies that I'm going to go see that don't fit the parameters. So I'm going to go see Smile 2 this month. I'm going to
Mhm.
watch like The Thing. I'm going to watch a couple of movies that I wanted to watch, but I think I have about 90% of everything they've asked for. So I have movies from 8 decades. So
Okay.
I have movies from the 1920s, the 1960s, the 1970s, 1980s, 1990s,
What is horror in the 1920s like besides the obvious?
It's like quiet movie. It's like silent films, bitch. Like I'm about to be watching like real cinema.
Oh god. That's interesting. Well, you know what? I support you. It sounds fun. Literally right as we going on, um went on YouTube and they recommended because I watch Everybody Hates Chris all the time. It's kind of like
Yeah.
good background show. Um, so they just premiered the Everybody Still Hates Chris one.
Yes. Strange name, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looks good thus far. Literally, I only watched the first 8 minutes and then we had to start this. Um, I like the idea that it picks up right after the show ended off.
How did the show end? I felt like that was one of those shows that just kind of just ended like one day.
So they did the play on the Sopranos ending, um, but it was Chris decided he no longer wanted to go back to school. So he had to get his GED. So because he had missed too many days and they weren't going to allow him to graduate, they weren't going to allow him to go to the next grade. So he was like, fuck this. I'm not going back to school. I'm going to get my GED. So he takes the GED test. And as the results are going to air, the show cuts off. Sopranos
Oh,
ending.
okay.
So it picks up and he failed the GED test.
Oh my god. How tragic is this show?
Everybody still hates Chris, baby. And that's kind of where it started. Anyway, it pretty much sets him back. He goes back to school. It doesn't matter. Like they're like, you have to go back to school or get a job or get kicked out.
Speaking of this,
Um,
did you peep the Simpsons season premiere, which was the series finale?
no, I'm so I'm so disassociated from The Simpsons, but go off.
Actually, really cool idea. They had like this like really kind of meta episode where like it was a series finale of The Simpsons, and the show got canceled. And basically, they gave you an idea of what it would look like if an AI wrote a final episode for The Simpsons.
Huh. Okay, I'm interested.
Quite inspired. If you really want to see the ending of it, you could go on TikTok. Somebody like ripped the full 4 minutes of the ending from it, but I checked it out. It was actually really cool. I mean, I know this is a show that has been around since, I mean, before I was born, I think, right, or when I was a child, really, and still going strong. I think it's older than me. The Simpsons is older than me.
Is it? I
Yeah,
think it
30
started in like
I
1989.
think.
Nah, that's WrestleMania.
Hold on, let's see. The Simpsons.
It's like 1987 or something.
It started in
89.
89. No, wait, 89? Because it was a short. Oh, 87. So it was the same. It's the same age as me, but not seasons wise, it's not. It's on its 39th season.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm sure Simpsons has gone through the process where it was great, and then probably for a long time it was terrible, but now it's probably have better, more in tune writers, so it's probably great again. Um, I just can't and have no interest in keeping up with it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
the voices
at
sound terrible. All of the voices sound old.
at some point I'm assuming like at some point the show should have just moved to Comedy Central and call it a day.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
like I don't know how it's still on Fox. I mean, I know why it's still on Fox, but I was like, this is probably should just move to Comedy Central, call it a day. Go to Futurama route, like wrap it up. You know what I'm saying? Even though I think Futurama's back too.
Yeah, it's back like with new episodes and shit. I would ask Cyrus. I mean, knowing Cyrus, he probably hates it. So
The early Futurama episodes are some of the best fucking it's like peak Simpsons era, but Futurama. Like some the first 4 or 5 seasons of it are just like amazing. I could
but
watch it all day.
the reboot was ass though. I remember people hating the
No,
original reboot.
reboot is ass. All the movies I thought were ass too. Like all the movies, all the reboots, I thought all of them were kind of terrible. Shout out to them still getting their money and everybody like that, like Katie Seagal and Phil Lamar and everybody else who's part of it. But nah, it was fucking ass. I don't watch. There's certain shows where it's like after a certain season, even if it's on, I don't watch it. Oh, you know what I've been watching for a while? I don't know how we got to this. This is
Yeah.
a big banter talk. I've been watching the Cosby Show.
Well, I've seen you tweet about it, and I'm like, are you really sure you want to tweet about this like publicly?
I think people are considering how much they actually showed on television now. People might be. I'm not gonna say over it, but like people might have like mentally moved on.
Here's the thing: it never stopped being. I think people like
No, they stopped airing it for like probably like a year, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, it really never stopped. Like
They probably
being
aired that shit at 3 a.m. It was
yeah,
like let's sneak a couple episodes in.
it was on. I seem to remember, unless I'm wilding, they used to put like disclaimers on the shit, but I don't think they do that anymore either. But I mean,
No, they have like whole like there was a marathon on the other day, and
what
they
channel?
had it was either like TV1 or um there's at least 3 channels that still play the Cosby Show on my thing for sure.
Are you
Let me
watching
say
it?
at least two.
You watching it on Pluto, bitch?
If they had it on Pluto, I'd watch it on Pluto. I'm gonna say so. They had a marathon where they had like the actors like do little like special things. It was like I remember this episode, and Bill used to do this, that, and the third. I was like, we're just openly talking about how
But the thing
like
is crazy is that they're doing that is that they hated him. Like literally, if you like they did not like him.
it was. Well, I know Lisa Bonet hated him. I can't
Yeah,
speak for the rest of the cast. I'm sure Malcolm Jamal Warner and Felicia Rashad and a couple other people.
we know
But
Felicia's his biggest munch. She is
yeah,
his
yeah,
unabashedly
yeah.
a munch for Bill Cosby. I'm like, God damn, like she was like slut shaming the women that accused him and stuff. Well, can you
No,
even
I agree. Yeah,
anymore? He was rightfully convicted and got out over some bullshit. But I mean,
but nah, they've been airing it. I've been watching. I was like, damn, this is a good ass fucking show, man. Like, it's a really good, like, funny comedy show. Like, every episode is something.
But
And
you can't get past the you really can't get past the Cosby stuff. Like I can't get past that. I couldn't
nah, but
I
I don't
couldn't.
know. Just something now. I'm just like, I think it's because of the comedy of it all with the other characters that I was just like, this is so fucking funny. And I hadn't seen it in a long ass time.
I
Because they
don't know.
used to air the Cosby show all the time.
I don't know, bro. You sounded crazy right now.
The Cosby Show?
Listen. You can't get on me about Cornette. We be watching the Cosby Show.
I mean,
Yeah, that's null and void slander at this point. You
I
have
mean,
to
it is what it is. I mean,
no.
I also listened to a little bit of Cornette too. Um, but I just I was just like, damn, this was a fun because they give me on TikTok all the time. Like, it's on my algorithm that they'll just show me episodes of the Cosby Show. And
What a crazy algorithm. Their
it's
algorithm is
not, it's really not. I promise you, it's really not. Like, the amount of people who, like, even when you go through the comments and stuff like that, it's just like people ignoring the fact that, like, all this thing, or not. I don't know. I don't know if it's ignoring it as much as just like indulging in the actual clip and what's going on. I was like, this was one of my favorite episodes, and blah 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 blah. So it's interesting, but it's definitely been on, and a comedy, albeit tragic, and controversial
Mhm.
fucking actors that's been part of it. But it's I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, this was a comedy. This is how they did comedy back in the day. Um,
Speaking of complicated men and
yes.
complicated shows, uh,
We
Vince,
watched this entire thing.
the
I feel like we talk about the Cosby Show. We are here watching Vince McMahon's documentary.
Vince
Um,
McMahon's. Well, I mean, I'm not watching fucking Vince McMahon highlight reels. You're watching a Cosby. That's a Bill Cosby highlight
yeah,
reel.
I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. I don't think I'm like, if he's in a
Where are you
storyline of
going here?
something,
Where are you
if he's
going
in if he's in like a storyline, like, of something that I'm watching, like, you know how they do on that channel, the TH13 channel, where they do um like Chris Jericho versus Triple H, and like Vince McMahon is like has a segment in it. I'm not like speeding through the segment.
I mean, not at all. I mean,
Right.
there's still. I think here's my rough boiler like high level thoughts on this. Right,
Sure.
it's not a great doc. All right,
No, it's not.
it's not great. I think
Not at
that
all.
if you were rushing to see all the tea that's spilled, you're not gonna get that. And there's several reasons why. And I think that I think a lot of like wrestling journalists are like really kind of disingenuous when like and really seeking out that type of thing when you know the time period that this was filmed and the fact that they can't really touch on something that's not like people are acting as if the case is over with and done and that it can be reported as if he lost. And it's like that they can't do that yet. We can't get the real like story behind stuff because we haven't seen the discovery process or anything that you know what I'm saying, nothing's come out of the
Right.
actual court case yet. So like I think it's like very strange to approach the doc in that way. Like you can like I would say to anyone who hasn't watched it, do not approach it thinking that you're going to find something new or
Well, they tell you off rip.
yeah. I
They
mean
tell you
he
within the first 5 minutes that they're like, "Are you going to answer anything of note?" And he's like, "I'm not going to tell you about how my life really is."
yeah, pretty much. And he does. He proceeds to do so, but also in a way that almost makes you feel like, can I really trust him? Because like it sounds very like wrestling storyline ish.
Yeah, no, I think the entire doc and the production of it, it's interesting that they chose Vince McMahon as a character to be able to do this doc on, and I'm not sure how much they actually hope to get out of his story, even though it's like his story has definitely not been told. Um, There's no like biography or anything other than like surface level stuff. He grew up here. He had this. His parents were this, and then he became a big wrestling, genius. But there isn't anything like within that reveals truly the psyche of Vince McMahon that you would probably actually want to know. There's no like defining life events during his teenage years that kind of really show you like, oh wow, and this is why he had such these like, you know,
But that's
either
something
delusions of.
but that's
Go
something
ahead.
that that's something that we also have never known because like when you think about Vince, like
Right. But you
he's
would think you would have this access to him that and he'd agreed to do this.
you know why you don't have that access? Because he doesn't really have any friends. And like in the sense that he doesn't have childhood friends. You know what I'm saying? Like his mom is gone, his dad is gone. Whatever story he decides to make up about his childhood is his and his alone.
He's
And
probably a prick.
true indeed. And you look at how the father figures he had in his life, that's probably not very hard to kind of reconcile with. But like Vince, his life is very much like this business. You see that here. His friends were his like employees. You know what I'm saying? Like those are all of his friends, and you kind of see that throughout the doc where it's like some of these people have been put like Trish Stratus and stuff like that have been put in some really crazy ass storylines, and they still consider him a father figure. And it's crazy that this guy is kind of like the blind leading the blind in a lot of ways. Like a lot of these people are like probably socially inept in a lot of ways. And then
Mhm.
to be able to be kind of molded and crafted by Vince McMahon in that way, it's like it really says a lot about like the type of control he can kind of have on people, and getting them to do whatever he wants them to do pretty much. Like look like all the stuff that they kind of walked us through in the 30, 40 years of him owning this company was crazy. Just seeing it back. You know what I mean? And seeing them all of them talk about it in that sense. Like I thought it was interesting to see Booker T in that light because like of all the WCW people, that's the one they Vince seemed to love the most is
Oh
Booker.
yeah.
Like he loved him some Booker T, yo.
He absolutely. And I mean, there was a lot of people in this doc that had a lot of like questionable the comments towards things.
You
Especially
got
like
you got
Tony
to
Atlas.
well Tony Atlas is the star of the doc undoubtedly. He's the
he
star.
he was bugging out. He was like, it was like something happened to her. He was like, why didn't she tell anybody? He was like, who you were gonna fucking tell? Who you gonna tell that Pat Patterson was groping kids? And what? Who was he gonna fire Pat Patterson? Pat Patterson is way more valuable to the wrestling business than I am, you are, anybody is. Like, eh, who are you gonna tell? And that's really kind of like that was the dark like kind of like cloud situation that really like hung over it for a bit for me that honestly probably could have led into the story, continue playing out the story, even though I don't think they wanted to tell the story of this man. Well, I don't think they initially went in to tell the story of this man being like,
A depraved lunatic.
yeah, they went in to try to tell this like American story of like this man came from nothing and built something and now he created one of the biggest business models ever. This is just me knowing Bill Simmons' mind from listening to the podcast. Um,
I feel sorry for you for listening to him that long.
I feel sorry for me too. I haven't actually listened in a long time because he'd just be wrong. He'd just be outwardly wrong about shit. But
Yeah, just saying with the most white man confidence about it.
easily. But um no, it was to me. I mean, everyone shout to everyone who's doing their recap and going through episode by episode. There is nothing in
Yeah.
this episode.
Could not be us doing that.
Yeah, there is not anything in this doc that I don't think that people who listen to this podcast don't already know.
Or who are watching don't already know. Now, like to be,
Well, wrestling fans, like deep wrestling fans, if you started watching maybe 10 years ago, you probably don't know all this shit.
I'll say this: I watched this with my wife, who
Hmm.
only kind of like in passing watches when I'm around. You know what I'm saying? When she's around it, So we watched the whole thing. She was interested in watching it. There was, I mean, she thought she was intrigued the whole way through. Like she was like she like, and to be fair, like this world is intriguing. It is a
Yeah, it
crazy.
is.
It is a very insane lifestyle. Is a very crazy, universe, a very crazy world to be a part of, and I think that you will find some interest in some kind of intrigue in that in this doc. But if you're looking at some tea to be spilled, I mean, I'm sure you'll get like there was some strange stuff there, like the Shane stuff was kind of like interesting,
Yeah.
but I also feel like it's like you're not really truly telling like the full story.
No, they're not.
Also think that like I'm like, bro, like why do you think he's gone? Why do you think he left the first time? It's like
They
no.
don't really even tell that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought the timing was interesting with the Shane stuff in here with him taking pictures with the Young Bucks and stuff, and then him saying in the doc like he felt as though Hogan betrayed WWE, and he never forgave Hogan fully for that. But I'm like, then like the stuff about Shane and Shane not really accepting Triple H and Stephanie's relationship and stuff like that. Like you could totally see a reason or a world where Shane does go to AEW because of that fact. You know what I mean? Like I think that's something to read into, but like in terms of like the man himself, like Vince McMahon, it's like episode 6 was just sort of like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like this doc has like gained us no ground on anything about this man
Yeah.
character at all.
I felt like, so I listened to the small part where Bill Simmons and Shoemaker were talking about kind of like the behind scene things of the doc. And to be honest with you, they sounded incredibly disappointed with how it kind of came out themselves. I think going through the process, like even I think 2020, 2021, 2022, going through all the recording process, and this is the first time they really get to kind of like talk about it openly, they low-key sound disappointed that they didn't, essentially what they wanted to do was tell the story of this man, and because he essentially either doesn't give up information, doesn't remember the information, all these other things, you kind of end up having to tell the subsidiary story of the growth of professional wrestling at his hands instead, and how it grew, and eventually how he became this kind of like maniac. And obviously Vince didn't come back to record any parts for this stuff all after the fact. Um, but yeah, to me, this doc, I mean, it's cute that it's on Netflix, but
Everyone was like, WWE, is their relationship gonna be terrible with Netflix after this? I'm like, bro, this was in gestation years before Netflix even came into the picture. Like they got to
yeah,
put it out because they made a deal about it. Like it just is what it is. Like I'm pretty sure it's gonna
absolutely.
be a conversation, but um, again, I won't even rate it. I'm not even gonna give it a rating because it's clearly not for like it's not for us. Honestly, it's very much for people that don't know, and I would expect there to be an update after this case comes out. After the case ends and all of this stuff comes out about this case, whatever happens with this, I'm pretty sure there will be an update, and then they can fully kind of reckon with the man, with the people that were there after that happens. But I was more interested in the people that weren't there, like Cody being the only present day superstar to talk on this documentary was very telling, and it looked like it was like right after he came back,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
literally right after he came back. It might have been when he was all for the tricep injury or the bicep injury or whatever. Like it like no Roman is kind of crazy. Um, no, like who would you think? Like, I mean, they could have even talked to people that weren't in the WWE bubble, but it looked like they were very much working with their talent team to get these people there.
yeah. It seemed like they really wanted the big stars of the kind of era. They didn't really talk to, because to be honest with you, a lot of more stars are bitter with how Vince has treated them than actually love. Oh, everyone who became a millionaire has something to say.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, I would have like,
But people who have lost money since then and have been treated certain ways and haven't really, like, you're gonna get the Undertaker to talk about Vince, even though he probably called Vince before and he was like, "You okay doing this shit?"
but you couldn't call like Cornette. You couldn't call I don't know like Rey Mysterio. You couldn't call like
I honestly don't even think, if I had to guess, considering the producers on it, especially Bill and his kind of like lack of knowledge of wrestling, um, kind of only wanted the broad strokes.
yeah. But I mean, again, I can't help but feel like that's like just such a missed opportunity. That's really all I'm saying. Like it felt like it was weird to have Cody say like 4 things and
Yeah,
then
no, you could. You definitely could. They could do a whole Dark Side of the Ring season just on Vince McMahon and all the isms that have come with it.
why is he speaking on DX? You know what I'm saying? Like like Cody said, well, I came in during the like after Benoit, it was very clean locker room. I'm like, okay, like cool. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. It was just a lot of missed opportunities there. I gotta say it was
I agree.
it was a lot of missed opportunities. But like that's really all I have to say about the doc. Not gonna get too much more deep into it. Um, we also have some really like kind of crazy news, contract stuff. Mills, you heard about
Contra-
this?
we've have we heard about it? It's all we hear about at this point, but it's still very very intriguing.
Lucha
Sure.
Brothers, that being Penta L Zero or Pentagon
And Ray
Zero.
Phoenix.
Yeah, and Ray Phoenix. It was reported or it was rumored they were coming to WWE. This has been like the story for months now that their contracts were up this month or ended at the end of September. And some news came
There
out.
was even a report that like Tony Khan, respects Pentagon so much that he's not even going to extend his contract because he just respects someone who goes and does the work that they do and has always been dedicated towards the company and all this other jazz.
Yeah, horse shit. But so pretty much it was reported that Tony Khan added injury time to Ray Phoenix's contract, right at the end of the contract, right when he was, I'm guessing, was supposed to have signed with WWE and left. And then, of course, since they were allegedly coming to WWE as a package deal, this also affected Pentagon, who we're also hearing also had injury time added to his deal, to the tune, according to one account, to the tune of 10 months for Ray Phoenix and 2 months for Pentagon. So that would have him out essentially for pretty much the rest of the year.
Can't even get a WrestleMania check. You know how crazy that is?
That
Uh,
is kind of nuts. I mean, but for all of the talk meals of Tony being this fair guy, what are your view on this? Like
I
this is
mean, technically, contract wise, if I'm talking business wise, it is still kind of fair, right? It's like you owe me time. It's in the contract. It is what it is. But seemingly, my whole question about this is, um, where does the expansion of this contract kind of like come in? Where in the discussions does it come in? Because it's certainly not. Is it coming in during the contract negotiations? That, oh, actually, if I offer you this new contract, that your old contract will end immediately, and we won't even extend it for additional time. So that's where I'm kind of wondering, because this all sounds fishy with me with the timing, especially considering how rumors are that they're going to the WWE. They have not re-signed anything of the rather. And then now, just kind of suddenly out of nowhere, additional time is added, even though it was also reported that they were, you know, given given
injury time.
an offer, no, an offer by AEW that they chose not to sign.
Yeah,
So it's weird. It just looks weird.
it comes off as nothing if not petty, right? That this is happening right now. And I keep seeing people say, well, if Conan shut his mouth, then this wouldn't happen right now. I'm just like, how are y'all like workers' rights 1 minute, right? And then y'all kissing up to the billionaire the next minute. And then you flip flop every single time. Like, wasn't Adam Page's like one of his greatest promos ever? That single-handedly started the domino effect of where their biggest star leaving the company after choking out one of their one of their employees about workers' rights and him not respecting it. And now it's like this. Like you literally had CM Punk himself talking about how WWE mistreated talents and not letting them out of their contracts when the Ali situation came up and the Sasha Banks situations had come up. And now you're turning on a dime and doing this. Like the hypocrisy is real. It really is real. I think that we've seen WWE kind of start just letting people out of their contracts now. They've done quite the opposite of that. Not to say that they haven't done injury time before. They were notorious for doing that. But like to see AEW going back to that, it's like, is this like some type of hardball play, or is it like I'm not understanding what the strategy here is for them to do this and get the bad press in that and doing so, and then making it Mill so that like if the Lucha Brothers, let's say they don't end up working out right in WWE. Let's say that their contracts end. They do their 4-year contract and it ends.
Right.
Do you think they're gonna come back to you? It's if you're still owning the company, if you're still doing talent and stuff like that, or you still run that portion of it. Do you think they come back to you? Like, no, they don't come back. They go somewhere else. Like you were cutting and burning a bridge with two people that, according to all reports, were extremely loyal soldiers for you for 5 years.
It to me, the additional time added. While I can't, part of me, it's if it's a stipulation in the contract, they can choose to add it any time that they want. So I'm not gonna just think, but I do think it's incredibly fishy. That only because my question is, would additional time have been added if they took the contract from AEW? That's
Yeah.
really my thing. You know what I'm saying? If they took the contract from AEW, would additional time have been added there? I think it's kind of upsetting that it kind of like ruins the flow of business. I think WWE has kind of like, again, we'll let go talent because, to be honest with you, nothing's bigger than the machine. They'll let anybody go. Anybody can go. Ricochet, he's gone. I'm pretty sure they could have added time for Ricochet, and they just chose not to. I'm pretty sure earlier this year they added time for Drew, but that might have been to continue kind of like these discussions, and he was probably okay with it. But I could be wrong about that.
I
But
mean, who knows? It's
they could have
extremely
added
shitty.
time for Bobby. Bobby's contract ended while he was injured.
Oh yeah, he is. He's still injured right now. I think. Like I saw a TikTok of him. He's still bandaged up. I think his on his bicep or something. Like
No, I
it,
think
it
he's good now. I think it's
might have
he
been
out here
old.
on YouTube doing his, yeah, it might have been old. He on YouTube like lifting weights and doing all the extra shit now.
Yeah, I saw him going on YouTube eating cheeseburgers. So
Yeah.
that was interesting. But it's shitty. There's no way around it. You also have people in AEW who are sitting around doing not like Ricky Starks. Does he have injury time added on? Is that something that happens with him? I could see him being the one person that's vocal. Like we've seen Ethan Page be very vocal about his experience in AEW, and it doesn't paint the rosy view of the company that a lot of people think that it is.
No, I think it's pretty much it's the same kind of business tactics that they always use. I think they're playing absolute hardball, even down to the Rusev thing. All right, like Rusev wants a release. Ideally, you want to release. They don't have to release you. I mean, it is what it is. They can kind of get what they want out of you. But if they're not doing it, if you're not doing anything, and they don't really want to do anything with you, it's just really really strange. Like even the Ricky Starks thing, to me, it was like one thing I was telling was a couple months ago at a scrum or press thing. Tony Khan was like, "We hope we can get Ricky back to do his job and da 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 da," and everyone was like, "Get him back, yo, his boss. What the fuck you mean he can't get him back to work?" Um, but it might have been because his contract at that time was expiring and he chose not to do anything about it. But it's seemingly now, I mean, he's just sitting around, he's just posting stuff on social media. It's just strange. If you don't want them, if they don't want to be there, let them go. Again, this is what I always that case with the independent contractor thing is going to be a very notable case of whether they're actually employees or independent contractors. Because to be fair, I don't feel like with independent contractors, you should be able to dictate so much of their career and lives and decisions on this. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean Daniel Garcia, also another person, has not resigned, and
But all indications that he's going to sign, according to every report that he is. It's like AEW, he hasn't signed yet, but
he has not
AEW,
he has not been on TV in nearly a month. Um, I don't know. And for all intents and purposes, it seems like a lot of the storylines have moved on, and MJF is gone. So we'll see. It was reported that his contract was up last week, and if he hasn't resigned, that means he doesn't have a contract. So who knows? Who knows what's going on with that motherfucker?
mm.
I'm pretty who knows? But let's talk about something, on a larger issue here. And thanks to everybody that's listening this week. Of course, this episode is a prediction episode, so you'll get all this conversation and more, as well as predictions for Bad Blood. for free this week. So you don't have to be on the Patreon, but we implore you that you do join the Patreon so you get these episodes early. You get special content from us. But there's been a lot of stuff happening within the space, and I feel like we are more than anything accurately and properly equipped to handle and talk about these situations, Meelz. And a lot of this happened last week during the Grand AEW Grand Slam press stuff. So you had Mercedes Moné, Swerve Strickland, and a lot of other people doing press for AEW. I mean, those two weren't even on the show, and they were still
Right.
doing press. So it was kind of strange to me.
I
I'm like,
mean, there's only two niggas there apparently.
yeah, but
The Breakfast Club.
they have
Let's
all
send
the they have all the
let's
names.
let's send the Beats Mortos to the Breakfast Club. Like they're not gonna do that.
Well, at least they didn't send Ricochet.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Hey man, hey, I'm like Kobe Bryant with it.
Stop.
Swerve got on there on the Breakfast Club, and it seems like this conversation follows him everywhere. And let me just start off by saying, right, why did every why does every interview he does have to talk about WWE? He's been gone for 3 years at this point from WWE.
Yeah.
Every single
He's had success outside of WWE, like actual notable success. Yeah.
every single interview is about WWE, and I think that like they don't bring him up, they don't talk about anything he ever did, and it's always about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he starts talking about the why he left WWE, the opportunities that he was.
Why he left? He was let go.
Yeah, well, I mean, Charlemagne asked him why he left or whatever, and then he answered strangely in a way that was like he like dipped on them. But he talked about and we talked about this a couple of months ago, the conversation surrounding who called Swerve and asked for him to come back, and he gives a better like a better story behind this. I'll just be clear. I feel like he be lying sometimes
I
because
feel like he lied a large part of the time until this interview.
yes, like because this was a completely different story than what he told other outlets before, and it seems like
What
more.
he told Dirt Sheets. No. What
Yes,
he told Dirt Sheets. This is a different story than that.
it seems like what the more in line because now it changed from him directly to his representative, meaning his manager or his agent, which like that seems about it. But it was it. But then he like kind of waffled on it being like, "We want you back," more to "Are you available?" type shit. And
Can I give a quote?
yeah,
He
yeah,
says, oh, hold on. I want to make sure I find the actual quote. I found one quote and then it was the wrong quote. My bad. Um, but no, he definitely said something along the lines of like, yeah, they didn't actually reach out to me. They actually reach out to my representation because you got to go through another person before you reach out to me. And I was just like, you're in a room with people who probably all had representation for themselves for years. Like,
yeah.
this is not the flex that you think it is.
Not a fucking boss, bro. You're not a fucking boss. You're corny as shit. But
Yeah,
let's
people have
preface
agents, bro.
let's preface this
Weird.
with Swerve Strickland is corny as fuck. Let's preface it with that. Like we mince words with a lot of talent on this show. Well, not a lot, but Swerve is definitely one I will not mince words with.
No, I
Fuck.
will not either. He says, yeah, it wasn't like the word resign. They asked me about my availability. They never contacted me. They contacted my representation. I'm at a stage now where I enjoy the fact that I don't have that direct contact. When you're progressing and getting higher and you're in rooms of people like Charlemagne the God, and you have to kind of keep the space between these times. This is the most dick eating conversation I've ever had. You kind of keep the space between these types of conversations. You can check my phone. It's never been there. I never had direct contact. I want to keep that little space.
This is a
Communication
lie, right?
has
This was a complete lie, right? Like this was a complete lie that he told before, or he's telling now, right?
there's it's definitely a lie. Something's lying. Something don't add up. Because the words were they reach out to him, they wanted to see, but he was under AEW contract and he was like,
Then
no,
he
I
snitched.
can't. Right. And it was like, oh, they're trying to tamper and all this. There's no tampering in fucking wrestling, bro. Y'all not governed by some larger body of anything. There's definitely like breach of contract and stuff that you shouldn't be doing, but there's no fucking tampering, bro. People can check the availability if someone's available. That's just something that you do. That's just good business practices. When is your contract ending? Is your contract ending soon? Okay, no. All right, so when we get back to that date, we'll contact you. We'll contact you. And also, let's not act like people aren't even fucking talking with other companies anyway before their contract ends.
Daniel Garcia, the Lucha Brothers, all of them seemingly have been talking to WWE for a while. like what are you saying? And vice versa. Like Ricochet, Edge being the most like crazy example of the tampering. This motherfucker retired on one TV show and showed up on another one in a week. Like this is it was like it's tampering going on all throughout pro wrestling. But it essentially created this conversation or this bigger conversation on Twitter because again, it's like Swerve said to what was the quote where he was talking about like basically WWE kept black talents down, like that was
He
the kind
says he says when he was asked about something. I don't even know what the fuck he was asked. He was like, they only complain when a black person gets paid. I will say that. We shake the foundation of things like that. Oh, snap. Wait, that's not what we would pay? Then why are you calling me? Why are you asking me? If I'm not your concern, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about my pockets and our money. We're good. You have your talent. You made your decision with me 2 years ago. No hard feelings for me. I
yeah.
keep it moving and I'm going to keep figuring it out and I'm going to keep building myself up. I was like, what a herb.
What a fucking clown, bro. Like niggas really love this nigga, bro. Like, well, here's no, actually no. That's not even a fact. I will say that Swerve Strickland is the first black champion that does not have universal love from black people. Like even Bobby Lashley got hella love from people. We don't love you like that. We don't fuck
Nah.
you like that, bro. Like it just is what you're a cornball. Let's just start it off with that. But it ended up creating a larger conversation about not just about pay, but placement of black talents in WWE, and just WWE, by the way, because
Right.
AEW managed to skate past all of this criticism, even though they've only had one black champion, and he's not the champion anymore, and is not featured on any of the shows right now. So, somebody came up with a couple of stats about there's no black talent, black male talent, by the way, black male talent.
That have had or won a singles match on WWE that have won a singles match on WWE television since August of 2022
Pay
or
per view.
something of
It was like
pay-per-view.
pay-per-view or some shit. It was so dumb that it was also like, but how did you even come up with that? Like, did you have that stat ready? Like,
Can
was
I
that
can I say something? I'm proud of myself because there's so many opportunities where I felt like I could have just laid facts. And I said, I'm not going to engage with this because this is so fucking stupid. This is so using, and this is what Swerve does. I think a lot of other talent does. You can ask. I think Mercedes does it from time to time, where they use their blackness as um, a kind of like to weaponize themselves, um, because they don't really. They feel like it's weird. I think people try to call racism on things just because certain things didn't really work out in their favor by another person's company. Like the decisions that are made creatively, I don't think are racism. I mean, at least in WWE, when you talk about Triple H's and thing, because I don't know. It's a I think they generally do use this at certain point as like a dog whistle for people to really come down on WWE. And I really do feel like you have to ignore a whole bunch of things to
for that?
really yeah, to really feel like they're actually not supporting, propping up, or featuring any black talent in WWE, or that they aren't getting paid. Well,
But
I can speak to the pay.
there are so many kind of intangibles and conversations and nuances that they choose to not bring up when that happens. I like that you said that they use their race as to prop themselves up and only them, because I really do think that is the case here. Because if you look at it, you weren't the only person that re-signed with your company. You're just the only person that keeps fucking talking about it. The rest of the people aren't saying anything about it. Like Melo's not talking about it because Melo can make as much as Trick. You wouldn't know because they don't talk about it. It doesn't
Right,
say anything about it. But at the same time, it's like you managed to get the bag. It's instead of it being like they're mad when we make a lot of money, it should be I want these people to make money, and I'm happy to be somebody that can be in a place where I can make sure that that happens for my people. That's
right.
not what's being said.
That's why he's saying they're mad that I'm making money. And
Yes.
he's saying because I'm black, they're mad at me making money. When it's like, what?
No one's fucking mad at you. Nobody even fucking likes you. Only white people like you, bro.
Let me
And
tell you something.
to be clear, only white people are the people that are defending you right now.
Let me tell you something about Swerve's WWE run. And the reason why it's so easy to let go is because it was incredibly unspectacular. And if you go back and you watch the promos themselves, you go back and you watch NXT with all them fake ass studios and then doing the raps on TV and
Black
all
ass.
the other yeah, and all this other shit that happened and but no one literally not a soul reacting to it. They gave him a lot of country on that show to be a rapper, to be a personality, to be whoever it is, and it never connected because it's fake and it's whack. Like it was terrible.
And it's no more real in AEW. It just has people that react to it now because of the little silly dance. Like he didn't rap better. He doesn't rap better.
Actually, his career took off when he stopped rapping.
Yeah.
When he stopped acting like a rapper because the raps are so terrible and no one fucking listens to them. That's when he actually got any kind of thing of success.
And this is not to talk about the BRP or anything like that. We're just talking about him just talking about black issues in general, knowing that he has a clip of him talking about a black girl being black and ugly out there, easily findable on the internet that he's never addressed ever.
When you look at other talent, especially those who've been in position, they usually help propel other people similar to that in their position as well. You look at Kofi and the things with New Day. You look at Carmelo and the things that happened with Trick. You look at so many other people. You go back in history, Nation of Domination, Mark Henry, all these other people who kind of like help put people in position to be great just like them. There's two people on the show. One is Mercedes, one is Swerve, and you don't see anybody else
Yeah.
except
But
Nana. I guess it was dancing and doing his damn thing.
or Private Party getting their culos waxed by a bunch of skinheads. I mean, like, can we? I mean, do people talk about that? It's like or Athena stuck on ROH. What are we saying here? And this isn't just to wholly kind of put it all on one company, but like neither company does this shit great. So for them to say like, oh, like there's only been one black. I'm like, here's my thing, man. I would much rather WWE come up with better storylines and better positions for black men and women than just slapping us on TV shows and having nothing for them to do. I am
Right.
far more interested in what Carmelo Hayes is doing with this storyline, which I thought picked up a lot on SmackDown this week, and I thought actually made him look great, and the match made him look great as well. I
Mm-hmm.
would rather that than just sticking him in a title match to lose, or just giving him a belt without him having a character to develop. Now under Vince, that might have happened.
It might have happened a lot, and you'd complain.
And we would rightfully complain about that. We rightfully complained about Ricochet for years and years and years when he was on the main roster, but we gave him praise when he was on NXT. Why? Because he was being built like a fucking star. You know what I'm saying? And that's worked. But I think that in terms of right now, if you're talking about 2022 to right now, other than Bobby Lashley, who? Like who could say that? And again, there's a lot of nuance here. There are black people in tag teams. There are black males in tag teams. There are black males that have debuted on the main roster. But a
There's
lot
black
of
males in NXT that
yes,
they choose to ignore completely. That there's this groundswelling of talent in NXT because it's NXT. It doesn't count until NXT starts whooping y'all niggas asses in the ratings, right? Like it doesn't make it to me. That's you're ignoring the entire piece of the picture to build this narrative that you want. And the worst part is that people are just biting onto it like, oh my God, yes. Triple H is this big racist and all this other shit like that. And I'm just like, bro, what are you guys?
crazy. I saw a tweet where somebody was like, "Yes, Triple H, person who hates pushing black people," with a picture of Keith Lee, who was the NXT's first double champion. Like, come the fuck on, man.
To me, it's just people are willing to ignore so many things
For
that
Swerve.
for one for Swerve.
I can see if
Um,
it was Mercedes, like I'm still gonna give him shit for it, but at least she's done something. At least she's accomplished something in this fucking world.
this motherfucker, EJ, the judge, uses this as a platform to talk about all his things that have now happened in WWE. I'm like, bro, you haven't been there in years.
You never even made it to the main roster. You were never
You,
was.
you never made it to the main roster of AEW, bro. You still on developmental. You
Do you
still there.
gonna get you there, brother? Like, is that really gonna get you there? Like, again, you're forgetting, and another thing that was a huge thing. Bad Blood's coming up Saturday. No black people on the card. Even though there
Well,
have been black people on the card this year, none this month.
no, but Bianca and Jade are hosting, and it's like, well, we're just hosting now. We're not gonna think it. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? This is a big ass card.
It's a huge card in the blackest city in fucking America. So like, what better to? And again, the way that they utilize their talent is they put them in huge pop culture positions. I'm telling you, they know what they're doing with Jade and Bianca. They are huge fucking stars. Them hosting a huge fucking show that doesn't even seem like a B pay-per-view anymore. We're gonna get to that when we talk about it later on the show. Them,
People,
they're gonna have guests there, and they're gonna be next to those guests, and they're
people
gonna
wholly, sorry, but no, people wholly forgot. Like the day before, Bianca debuts in a promo alongside Cardi B
yeah.
for WrestleMania in New
It,
York City.
it does not add up. This argument doesn't add up in so many ways. And again, it goes to I don't want to see nobody with anime avies or WWE superstar avies even talking about this. Like if I can't see your face, I don't want to see what you got to talk about. If you got a Liv Morgan profile pic or a fucking Naomi or a fucking Ariane, what was her tag team like? Those PFPs, I'm not listening to you, bro, because I can't see what you look like. You could be fucking you could be from fucking Wisconsin, white dude. I'm not listening to you about this shit. I'm gonna tell you right now. I do not want there to be fake representation. I don't want there to be meaningless representation for people. I want there to be actual good representation for black people. And here's the thing. There was a tweet out that came out today where it was like, oh, WWE's taking the representation stuff seriously. I'm like, what makes you think they weren't taking it seriously before?
There's
They're
literally only 8 black people on the main roster. I'm just keeping it a buck with you. And there's more races that are on the main roster that's also being featured, by the way. There's a lot of people being put in position.
someone's going to turn around and say, well, that means there's more white people. I'm like, that doesn't necessarily mean there's more white people because the people at the top of the card are fucking Samoans and Tongans right now. like, what are you like? Again, no one is saying that the either company's doing it more right or correct. But I love, like you said, Meelz, this conversation is so one sided so often that where it doesn't even, there's bad people on both sides. To quote one of AEW's favorite politicians, there's bad people on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of the day, who's doing it best? I will say right now,
This isn't, but it shouldn't be. It's not a contest. But
Meelz, Swerve let a white man put a syringe in his mouth, knowing the history of fucking opioid abuse and drug use that we have in this fucking country. You want to have that image, that visage for you? You're a fucking embarrassment. Stop fucking talking on my people, bro. You're corny as fuck. You have the black eyeliner around your eye to look like a coon. To look like a coon. I'm tired of you, bro. Your best match was the match with Killshot and AR Fox and then Lucha Underground. That's where it fucking stops, brother. Fuck off.
this shouldn't be this difficult. The conversation shouldn't be this contrived if it's actually diversity that you wanted. It shouldn't be as tribalistic as it is if diversity is truly the thing that you want. It should be clear call to action, but it shouldn't use fake statistics or really just contrived statistics. One going under all these things of like this is only black and male wrestlers and they have to have wrestled on pay-per-view and they have to be there at a certain time. A lot of people have left, bro. And it's not just because just WWE's a bad. Well, I think just creatively they aren't getting what they feel like they should be getting. I don't think they've felt any. Well, I can't speak to their experiences. Let me not even say that. But realistically, I think it's a if Lashley and MVP leave WWE, it's largely because they feel like Lashley and MVP aren't being used the way they should be used.
And they're old.
And they're old as fuck.
They're old.
So
They're getting all these old niggas out of here. I love it. Keep going. I'm gonna say this right now. We can end it off here. I'm rooting for everybody black except Swerve Strickland. So if I had a problem with you, Athena, had a problem with any of these talent that we always talk shit about, I want you to succeed. I want you to do great. I want you to be better than Swerve. I want you to make more money than him. I want you to make it so that none of his storylines ever fucking make sense or make it on TV.
I'm gonna hold that until someone says something stupid, which
Okay,
almost surely will
that's
happen.
fair. I'll just take it back and act like I never said it. But Swerve is the Clarence Thomas of wrestling. And that's why I'm leaving it at. Fuck you. Anyway,
Absolutely.
AEW's 5th anniversary show.
It's this
So,
week.
there's been a lot of shows. I almost get confused because last week was Grand Slam. There was a lot of things that happened on that. What were
There
your
was a
thoughts?
pay-per-view the previous week and all this. Oh, I didn't even really watch.
You
I'm
didn't
gonna
watch
keep
it?
it bug. I watched the Collision one and I didn't watch the Dynamite one.
Well, that's because you're watching Challenge, so that makes sense. And shout out to
Yeah.
everybody listening to the Challenge pod. We got a really good episode this week. But listen, man, this don't feel like a 5th anniversary show.
It's just, to me, it's clear what they're missing. They're missing direction, they're missing stars, they're missing everybody else. We got this suddenly out of nowhere Bryan Danielson versus Kazuchika Okada match, where the AEW world title is on the line, but the Continental title is only at stake for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
was like, what is it, like 20-minute commercial free? Like, is it?
So 2 days notice for a match that you're giving away on TV. That's 2 with a convoluted stipulation. How is this not WCW again, Meelz? Can you
Featuring your world champion defending the title in a match against someone who, the last time they went back and forth, he was injured and actually was out quite considerable amount of time. Oh, and he has a pay-per-view match that's pretty anticipated in the next week and a half.
Yeah. How is this not WCW again?
No, it is WCW.
I just want to know.
That's all I could think of.
I want to know how this is helping your company in any way, shape, or form. Also, Brian has not helped the ratings in the least bit. Has not turned the needle at all. I'm sure that when Mox wins this title, which I'm pretty sure he will, I'm pretty sure ratings will probably go up because that's the one motherfucker on the show people actually care about is Jon Moxley.
I agree.
And why is that? Why is that? Because he was in one of the biggest stables of all time in another company. Just be clear.
We'll see how this goes, but you definitely can check it out on the War Report this week where they cover it. Probably begrudgingly by Cyrus, maybe excitingly by Quan.
I don't even think Quan's that excited anymore.
I mean, I don't know. Might be. We getting Ospreay. We getting Ospreay Ricochet. This is the one match that's been happening.
What's your thoughts? I'm gonna lean back. What's your thoughts?
I'm pretty sure Ricochet is turning heel. That's all I got.
Say right now, anything where it requires him to talk more might be bad.
Hey man, listen.
Turning Ricochet. Here's the thing about it. I don't think Ricochet has the excitement that a lot of people had hoped that he would coming to AEW. I don't think that's wholly AEW's fault. I will say that. I don't think that's wholly their fault.
If you had like a percentage of whose fault it is, if there was a pie chart.
Who's at fault? Who are the parties at fault here?
AEW, Ricochet, Will Ospreay.
I'll give Ospreay 30.
Okay.
Where are we at now? 70. I'll give Ricochet 50 and I'll give AEW 20.
Wow.
I think that Meelz, I think that Ricochet as a character himself has not evolved largely. I think that a heel turn would be very bad for him. I think Ricochet is just a natural baby face for several reasons. His moveset, for one. You can't be a heel with that moveset. He would have to completely change, and he's not going to do that because he, like, at this point, Meelz, he's old. At his age, he is what he is. You know what I'm saying? Like he just is what he is. He'll be a black Sammy Guevara.
Oh God, I hope not. I think
Just be real.
I think him as a heel, I've never really seen it for him. I think some large part of my blame rests on AEW because this is a similar thing that's happened with all of the talent that's kind of come in. They don't really have any like real gripping plans or like how do we make this feel original for ourselves or stuff that normal people would ask questions for when someone new is coming in that they want to hype up. Something that's like when what's my man's name? Doodles was injured.
Everyone?
And who instead of signing WWE signed a thing and then had that match with MJF where he got looked like a bitch. Switchblade Jay White.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um I'm starting to feel like that's a bit that I'm playing on myself. Um Clearly didn't have notable plans for him when he came in. The idea that you orbit him around the AEW championship because he was former New Japan, former world champion. And you do that, but clearly they don't have any like grand sweeping plans for him or anything like that. I don't even think they have one for Ospreay. His booking has been so all over the place, and so that they're going to kill whatever aura he has.
They're currently killing it. They're on the way to killing it. I mean, great
He's in
job.
a world championship match one month. Then he's in a casino battle royal the other month. Then he's international champion one month. Then he's on a tag team championship the following week. Now he's facing Ricochet, but then he's also with the Don Callis family. But also he's been facing the Young Bucks. But also like
All over the place.
it's all over the place. There's no direction. You wonder why shit happens with the way Cody has been booked, the way Cody has been booked, the way Roman has been booked, the way Roman's been booked. Even, I'll say this. I'll say this, and this is a hot take, and I'm just sorry to my guy Ricochet for this. They have booked Jacob Fatu better than Ricochet.
I don't think that that's a hot take. I think
Okay.
that is a fact.
Because they clearly know where they want to go with him long term. And it's like, how do we get us there? That should be really the question of it.
And they protect him. They protect him from things. If you really wanted to protect Ricochet, you would not put him in a sit down with Will Ospreay, a storyline that not many people that watch your show know about. This is another storyline that you have to like. They are. Let's just be clear. They're not interested in getting casual audience anymore. They're just not. They're
No.
interested in just playing to their base every single time, and you see what those numbers are getting. You see what their houses look like now. So like with this position, you now have two guys that should not be losing a match right now, who should be protected. If Ospreay loses this Meelz, it's done. It's over. It's over for him. I'm sorry. It just is. He should not.
It will look too much like charity more than anything, to be honest with you. Because this is what it looks like to me. And
What it is.
it bothers me even during the promo, whereas they talk about his like 6-year hiatus, and I'm like, bro, why are you dismissing the last 6 years of your career where you became an actual star? You've been wrestling in bigger buildings than this man for the last 6 years, for the last decade. You've been better than him for the last. Yes, you haven't got the opportunities that you got, but now you're going to prove that you're better than him with this opportunity that you do have. But don't ignore the last 6 years that you have.
The fact that they act like him being on
In WWE was such a
with a negative is so crazy. Like it is truly crazy that is even a thing. It's
it's made him into a viral star. It's gotten him respected. It's gotten him known just in general. Ricochet was cool, but Ricochet was not before he wrestled in WWE. He was under a mask.
yeah. I think that acting like and I'll say this right now, like him versus Logan Paul is probably a bigger deal than this fucking match that he's gonna have
Yeah.
this week. It's a bigger deal than that. Him versus Logan Paul is probably the biggest match he could probably ever have.
The one thing I like about Brian's thing is Brian never ignored that he went to WWE because it's stupid.
Yeah, he won their biggest title and their biggest show. like, like why would he deny that? I don't know, Meelz. I'm just saying, Ricochet loses here, he looks like a goof. If he loses and turns heel, which they all do in this fucking company, because that's the only way you get over is by turning heel, he looks like a bigger goof. If Osprey loses, he's finished. Because at that point, it shows me that they do not see him as a factor for that title in the near future or in the far future. With so many people that are probably coming back, they're saying Adam Cole's on the way back too.
If he loses, this is a favor. If he loses, this is no sweat to Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay will continue being a star. Ricochet will end up defending this shit on Collision or something else of the rather. Like he's just taking the burden of the title away and just going somewhere else.
That's
Will Ospreay will be fine.
that's the problem though. That's the problem with him winning that title in the first place, Meelz, is that he has to lose it because it's a fucking bullshit ass title. Like it just doesn't make sense for him to have it in the first place. But listen, I'm just gonna pay attention and see what they do here. I don't think either guy should be facing off with each other right now. But
I don't think so either, but here we are. Yeah.
and then tonight, as we record this, NXT will be on having their debut on the CW tonight. Big deal
Network
here.
television, baby. Network television. Booker's like, I'm back.
Network TV, of course, with the two huge main events: Julia versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Title, which will open the show. And you have Trick Williams versus Ethan Page, which will likely close the show with CM Punk as the special guest referee. There's so much I can't guess what's gonna happen because there's so much that they could do. There's so much rumored to happen in the next couple of weeks for NXT. I'll just say that I'm extremely excited for the next evolution of this brand. It's been the one brand on WWE programming that has been allowed and given the grace to evolve and change over the past decade. Um,
Absolutely.
and I think to the betterment of the actual brand itself, like main roster, me and you usually know what we're gonna get.
Yeah.
There's no real surprises there anymore. I mean, even though Triple H will throw his curveballs, there's no real surprises as to what we're going to get on main roster. I truly don't know what we can expect from this era of NXT, and I think that's why it's so exciting.
I think so as well. And everything you said was probably right what I was gonna say. But no, this is amazing. It's got a great card. Again, you got Wesley versus Zachary Wentz. Mike the Miz hosts Miss TV with D'Angelo and Obafemi. Lola Vice, Jada Parker go up against Fatal Influence. It's pretty much like the showing of like, hey, this is who we are. NXT national new TV audience. I don't know if it'll be a new TV audience. I don't know how much the CW apparently rated their highest demo that they ever got was a 0.14. So I'm sure NXT is gonna blow whatever the fuck this network has out of the water. But it's gonna be a good show. I'm looking forward to it. We'll be in the Discord, having a great time.
I have to try and find a way to watch that live. I can't wait. But real quick before we get to Bad Blood, we've gone
Either
over.
either baked or meth. Pick whichever one you want to go.
I might be methed up, man.
All right.
Depends on how racist they get in the comments. Quick SmackDown and Raw recap. It seems like we're going kind of full bore into the KO stuff at this point. With what he's going through with Cody, and Cody just being just a fuck up friend right now.
Yeah. KO being like, no, actually, y'all gonna face them in 2 weeks, so it's gonna be us who faces them. And Cody feeling slighted. I was like, you selfish bastard. I love all the little interplay here. I love everything. It's clearly setting up for whatever Cody has post this Bad Blood match. So this is how you do it. Without it being super convoluted, like one guy loses a fucking number one contender match out of nowhere and can't do anything about it and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is good. I love it. I love it a lot. Naomi ends up losing to Bayley, so we will get the rematch at Bad Blood between Nia Jax and Bayley. But you know what? Fair. Let's run it back again. Let's see how it goes. It's probably going to be a better match.
It's been 2 months. We Bayley was off for a couple of weeks, and then we get it back here.
She's still a large part of SmackDown, so
yeah, very very large part of SmackDown. But the real story here is like what role Tiffany Stratton is going to play into this match, and it seems like they're kind of turbocharging this face turn for her. We have predicted it, and we'll see how that works. I think the large part of it is like, how are they going to get sympathy on Tiffany Stratton? And I think having her play kind of a subservient kind of slave to Naya. My
Slave
slave.
is crazy.
It was a crazy thing. I guess subservient, kind of like friend. I guess I probably a better.
Yeah, yeah.
But it will probably be the way that they do it. It will be interesting to see how they get her down to like that like level to actually have people cheer her more when she turns. But we saw signs of that this week, and we'll see how far that goes. And we'll talk about that in the predictions as well. Um, LA
Best of
Knight. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
the LA. No, I was gonna say the same thing. LA Knight trying to get involved in this little series that they got going on here.
Yeah, again, this is mid card title booking 101. It works every time, Mills. Like you have two guys that are really great at what they do, and you have LA Knight who's a champion, and then you have them interplay every single week. Melo wins the sixth match. I didn't even realize that they were trying to go to seven, but this is like a best of seven, or yeah, best of seven without actually naming it that. So this is kind of like the Benoit Booker stuff without like actually saying, oh, we're gonna do seven matches, and then whoever wins this is da-da-da. Like this is the same type of idea, and I think that whoever wins this will eventually get LA Knight. But to me, I love the Andrade LA Knight interplay. That has been really good in the past couple of weeks.
I agree. I think all of it has been a large part for establishing where he is on the roster, his character on the roster, and kind of like what he brings to the table. And then also Mello as a heel. I think Mello is getting a lot of great shine here, featured in a weekly thing. So I think everyone's going to come out much better on the other side of this. So it's been pretty fun thus far. Um, on the Raw side now,
They were cooking. They were cooking last night. I'm not gonna lie.
hey man, they were like, you know what, Braun, you're a face now.
Because they like I said last week, you can't like they want to cheer this guy, bro. They want to cheer Braun Breaker. I think that, and I mean in the turn of him and now the absence of Ilya Dragunov, who was out
Yeah,
for 8 months, they probably had to speed this up by weeks at this point. So like that's a cool thing to do. I'm ready for Braun Breaker to be a face. He's just so annoying as a heel right now. It just doesn't work for me
I
as a
was,
heel.
yeah, he's just a meathead as a heel. But my favorite part was Jay was like, "Hey, there's some dogs in this house,"
I was like,
and
Jay's
then bros
promo.
for me.
Jay's promo was to for lack of a better word, erratic. I was like, what is going on here?
Hey, bro, he was like, I'm sure people in the back were like, they still fuck with him, so
Bro,
fuck it.
Joe was like struggling to find words for what exactly he was just watching there. He could only settle on emotional, and I was like, yeah, I think I would leave it at that too. I was like, is this nigga drunk? Like,
Clearly emotional promo from James. I was like, you know what? That's why you the best in the biz. That's why they pay you the big bucks, Joe.
I think his son could have cut a better promo. If he had walked down from the crowd and just got in the ring, he could have cut a better promo than Jay did there.
Speaking of better promos, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, good promo.
Real good. Hey, this needs to end the show. I've said this already. It needs to end the show. There's nothing on this show that has the amount of heat that this match does. Sorry, Cody and Roman. You got to give it up to the Punker one time, bro. He's been in the background for too long. You let him main event this show, bro.
The cage is back to regular colors.
Thank God. I'm pretty sure Triple H wanted. Has been asking for that.
Yeah, he was like, "Nah, fuck this." Oh wait, it was back at WrestleMania last year. Oh well, whatever. I don't give a fuck. But yes, back to regular colors. So that's interesting. Also, Finn Balor and Wrestle Judgment Day beat up Rhea and
Damien.
Damien again.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened. So that's going to prepare for Bad
Leah,
Blood this
Leah called,
weekend.
Leah called herself a home wrecking. I was like, bars.
She
That's bars.
whatever SZA was on the weekend, she's like, I'm that. Um, my two least favorite people showed back up.
Yeah, and one of them had a lot more fire this week, eh?
I guess so. I guess so. Listen, I could. They wrote off Natalia and Zelina. I was like, we was doing something here. What's going on?
Hey man, Natalia was taking them selfies backstage on Monday, man. She
Hey
bad.
man,
She,
keep this program away from me. How about that? It's got everybody that I don't like in it. I can
Hey,
just avoid this part of the show.
somebody save Lyra, bruh. Save her, please. We got a challenge from the Unholy Union for the TikTok tag team, and we got an official challenge from Io and Kyrie towards Jade and Bianca for the tag titles. I think that's what you got to do here. You just have these titles bounce around, man. I think if they're not doing it, well, wait, don't Bianca and Jade have a match on NXT next week?
I think they said they wanted to come to NXT. I'm assuming they're setting up for a match next week. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen.
I thought it was official. Bianca versus
No, there's nothing. There's nothing on NXT this week for sure.
I meant
For next week,
yeah, I think it's next week.
I haven't seen anything but the Randy Orton and Javon Evans match set up, and I think there's a tag title match. I think.
We'll see. We'll see. What again, really good promo from Damage Control too. I like that they're letting them speak English too. Like Julia was able to speak English on NXT. I actually think Julia speaks better English than like a lot of people thought. Like she was actually pretty good.
Right.
Her English is actually pretty advanced. But it's good to see them being able to speak English and then also speak their native language and then people fuck with it for that. Like it's pretty cool. What else happened on Raw?
Sami Zayn's getting his match against Gunther next week. Raw's actually pretty fucking large next week.
Yeah, for 2 hours. I'm like, how are they going to fit all of that there?
Hey man, listen, you only got to get me for 2 hours. I don't give a fuck how you get there, bro.
Miz,
Miz turns heel, baby. The power is back.
foreclosures.
Hey man, they ain't no damn foreclosure. Stop putting that bad juju on my guy. He's selling the crib. He's selling the crib.
Foreclosures, bro. What's going on with your boy, man?
Listen, the economy is crazy. Economy is crazy right now. You probably said, listen, let me sell it right now before it gets even worse.
Hey man, you can wipe down carrying cars, man. You can wipe down the Harley Davidson. And then what's the kid named Meadow? She can
Meadow.
She could detail the cars. You know what I'm saying? Meadow, whatever the girl. What's
Madison and Monroe?
Madison and Monroe. Yeah, they can detail the car.
Meadow is such a white child's name that I fully believe that a white girl could be named Meadow.
Or we can make Marisa nail tech and she could do Scarlett's nails. Y'all struggling. 4K got you, bro. Carrying and gang got you.
Broke ass niggas out my fucking way, bro.
Listen, heel on R-Truth is like literally stealing candy from a baby. So good luck.
No, it is.
Good luck with Miz on that heel turn. I'm not a fan.
Niggas was beat up R-Truth all last year, and it was just fun. No one took it seriously until Miz showed up, I guess. I don't know.
Let me just be clear. There's only one avenue for Miz in this role, and that's probably against Braun Breaker. So
I legit thought it was like, all right, since if we switching Braun, we got to switch another person.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably Miz and Braun Breaker. So this should be fun.
I mean, it is, man. Listen, we're gonna get Braun up to speed. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get him where he needs to be.
Teach him how to manage his money so he not foreclosed on his house.
Main event. Well, no. New Day stuff. How did you feel about it? It's compelling stuff.
It's really compelling. What are your thoughts if this does end up being a split next week?
I'm split. There's no sweat off of me, to be real with you. They've gone as far as they're gonna go. Xavier Woods don't even feel like it, just feels older. You know what I'm saying? The entire New Day don't even feel fresh anymore. The outfits don't even feel fresh anymore. It don't feel like they're trying, to be real with you. It feels like they're phoning it in and have been phoning it in for years. So I'm not really mad at if any split happens. I said it on Twitter last week. I was like, listen, because I think Biggie tweeted about something. I was like, by the time you come back, Xavier Woods might be in Judgment Day and Kofi Kingston might be Jamaican again, my nigga. Like we're too far gone from this. I'm fine with whatever happens though. Besides them continuing to be a team. Main event.
Last monster standing. A long main event too.
When I saw it came on at 10:40, I was like, y'all niggas sure y'all know this started at 10:40, right?
Yeah, well, Braun had plenty of time to lay down during the match. So.
He was fine for his life, bro. The entire match. This might be if he go out in this, let's say Braun retires, it's a good
This
way to go out.
the best way to go out. It was this match and the Omos match that I think were his best matches ever. Actually,
Yeah,
the one of them Roman matches was good. I can't remember which one, so don't ask. But um, this was really, really solid. I think Bronson has done a lot to rehab. They've done a lot to rehab Bronson's character in the last 3 months, and it's been incredibly effective to a point where like I actually think he like to
he's
me,
age. He's for sure age. Yes.
yeah, he's for sure H at this point, and I think like I would love to see Braun versus Bronson, Braun Breaker versus Bronson. That would be fucking fire.
I think that's what they're probably going for.
Yeah, like if you wanna keep booking him in these insane, crazy matches, and I think that that's like one way that you kind of make this happen. But
What was the most ridiculous part of this match to you?
the most ridiculous the Braun top jumping off the top rope shit was kind of crazy.
Them killing the front row to me was nuts, and then 25 security guards coming out to help the people, and then not Braun, Bronson goes back in the ring. It's like, start the count, bruv. And the referee's with the other security. It's like, come on, guy, get the fuck back in the ring. What are you doing?
It was also little stuff like Braun Strowman throwing in the ref to
Yeah,
the count was really awesome. Again, it's fully understanding what these characters were, and like it showed to me that Triple H can do a Vince level crazy hoss match. This is like a Vince McMahon match through and
of
through, like just
course.
this crazy level shit. And like,
Did you expect the ring to break?
yeah, I did.
Okay,
When it went up for that, I was like, yeah, it made a lot of sense because they were out of the ring for half the match. So like they probably had like loosened the screws or whatever the fuck they did to make it happen. So they probably didn't want to do a lot of spots on it, but they were outside the ring for so long that
you're right. You're right. They were
it
probably
made
unloosening the screws for sure.
it made sense for the ring to break. Now, what I wasn't expecting is I almost called him HBK because that's what it looked like he did when he came out. But Seth Rollins coming out and stomping Bronson for him to lose the match to Braun, which I thought like in a way was like, incredibly effective because Bronson didn't go out looking weak. He only went out because the guy who was looking for revenge for him
Yeah.
uh, got revenge on him.
No, I agree. It was some good business right here. They did good, and there's a little Fendi fit. You know what I'm saying? Looking a little bit less ridiculous, but still, Seth Rollins. But it was good. This was good, man. This was a good bit of business. This is a good way to end the show. Again, people are complaining about these 5-card pay-per-views. And yet, the TV, you're getting a fire TV match at least once a week,
Yeah.
more than likely twice a week. This week, I low-key feel like we should add Bad Blood SmackDown to the predictions for this fucking show because Bad Blood SmackDown, we got 2 big matches on Bad Blood SmackDown this week.
Yep. We got a triple threat ladder match between the Profits, the Bloodline, and DIY. Do you think the titles change?
They should change. If they change, Twitter is gonna say, "See, we did it."
Exactly. When it seems to me that it's been set up for this to happen for weeks. Uh, because
See,
again,
they listen to us.
it sets up a lot of chicanery with Cody and Roman, and that's why I think the titles change hands here. Because I think that there's a lot of shit that could happen with that.
I think this is just to continue to make the other 2 teams look good, but I truly kind of low key still see the Bloodline retaining.
And
Like
doing
Tonga Loa is we get funny style Tonga Loa again. He got a fucking lampshade on his head and grabs the titles or some bullshit.
we have the trash match between Michin and I'm sorry, it was a dumpster match, not the trash
It's a
match.
dumpster match. You think of me trash. Stop that.
Oh, between Chelsea Green and Michin, which should be good. I think Michin takes it here.
Yeah, Michin's in her bag in this one.
And then I feel like it was a
It
third
was
match.
Naomi versus Tiffany.
Yeah, I think Naomi wins this to get her heat back for sure.
I agree.
Let's go on to Bad Blood, which has all the makings to like a month out from Survivor Series be like a big 4 level pay per view with all of the talent that's going to be in. Like Roman doesn't do B pay per views. He's doing this one.
No,
Like,
he's fully doing this one. This is like the one pay per view that's like in the States this year. He's got to do it. He has not done a pay-per-view since WrestleMania.
Let's kick it off with Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Dominic Mysterio suspended above the ring in a shark cage. I'm very, very. I can't call heads or tails with this with Meelz. Like, I think if you have Liv continue to have be the champion here, it's not necessarily a bad thing. She's a good heel foil for a lot of the women on the roster, and it would give a lot of women on the roster something to do. If Rhea wins here, I do not see a path for anybody else unless Becky or Charlotte come back to face her.
Yeah, I can't really see what would happen if Rhea Ripley wins. I can see plenty of what happens if Liv Morgan wins. I
Yeah.
think the roster is more catered towards a Morgan reign right now than a Rhea Ripley one. But I think also they're gonna tell the story of like Rhea Ripley building herself back up to eventually get this championship.
Yes.
Um, but there's still Shark Cage match is just a red flag in general. Like
He's gonna
the
get out.
he's gonna get out. Like it's or something ridiculous gonna happen. People have been calling Raquel potentially getting involved in this. Um, People have been, I'm trying to look at what would happen if Liv Morgan wins. Liv Morgan could potentially face like probably Natty. It's probably fucking Natalia. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. I think yeah, I'm gonna go with Liv Morgan. It's gotta
I,
be Liv.
I think I'm gonna go Live too. I think Rhea needs to chase for a while. Um, it just seems too easy for her to just come back and get the title again. Even I think she's a hot baby face, and I think that the women's division needs somebody that could face off against multiple heels. I'm just worried that if Rhea Ripley is a baby face for too long, she will run headfirst into Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
Shit, I don't know what the fuck. Rhea Ripley's such an anomaly on her own. They've been separated from the rest of the women's division since literally January.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you get an avenue where Rhea could realistically start facing off against EO, which we haven't seen, against Kyrie, which we haven't seen. There's a lot of paths there
I
for Rhea.
mean, there's no other it's Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and then the rest of the women are in tag teams. So
They could take EO out. I think EO is due for a title run on this brand.
I think so as well. I think yeah, if Io and Kyrie do not win the tag team titles, then I could definitely see them going for the
The women,
women's championship for
yeah.
sure.
And again, we're still waiting for Dakota and Asuka to come back. So like, there's women missing on this roster, and I think they're just waiting to see what happens there. Damian Priest versus Finn Balor is our next match. I'm gonna be real. I really think this night will be a Judgment Day sweep. I really do. I think that both these programs, like Rhea, should probably be away from Liv, but I think Damian and Finn they have a lot more to go before this is over.
I'm gonna go with Damian Priest on this one. I just
Wow.
feel like he's going to win this one. I don't know why. I just feel like he's winning this. Um, Maybe it's because it's been telegraphed so hard with Finn Balor and them beating him up for the last like 8 weeks. Uh,
But he's got the numbers. He's got the numbers on his side. That's why. And then
this
I
is
think
true.
with Damian that they might be too much to overcome because again, they got to start making them a little bit of a threat again, where you could have new babyface Braun potentially facing them because you got to remember Ilya's gone, so someone has to step into the spot that he was about to fill before he got injured, and I think that you got to have them somewhat powerful. But the thing is that if they do win, I think that sets them up for like a Wyatt Six type angle, and I think that
Yeah,
would
that's
take.
what I was thinking too.
Yeah, it's looking like Wyatt Six for them next.
Fucking hologram shows up and shit or some stupid shit.
Exactly. It would be a big pop if they did show up on Bad Blood. They have not been on TV for a couple of weeks, so it would be a legitimate surprise if they came out at Bad Blood or at Raw next week for
I
sure.
agree. I agree.
So I'll say Finn. You say Damien. We'll see how that shakes out. We have Nia Jax versus Bailey for the women's championship. I just don't think it is Bailey's time right now. I think that they are very much into having Tiffany be the champion at some point in the next couple of months.
Let me raise you this situation.
Okay.
Bailey wins. Tiffany cashes in.
Okay.
So you don't have Tiffany cash in on Nia to really set up that loss right now. But you do have Bailey set up. You do have Bailey taking that L to transfer that championship a little bit, so you
Yeah.
can still set up Nia versus Tiffany.
Ooh, they're gonna be mad. Oh, but you can have Nia be like, "Give me the title" or something like that. Like, just hand it to
Yeah,
me.
one of those things. Like we're gonna have on SmackDown this week. You're gonna give me that championship.
Yeah, that's good. I'd be good. I mean, that'd be good.
I think if you want the big pop with Tiffany, she can cash in on Bailey. I mean, it's not gonna be the best, but it is
But I,
what it is. But I don't think she cashes in on Nia Jax.
but I also don't think Tiffany holds the title that long anyway. If she does get it, so
Yeah, I don't think by Mania time it'll be a whole different. My Mania low key might end up being if you put Tiffany as a face and you bring Charlotte back as a heel, might be mama versus daughter on WrestleMania. Who knows?
Charlotte's got to be a face. She's gonna be a face, bro.
Charlotte's whatever she is. She's just the queen. I miss her so much. It's been
Wow.
too long.
All right. We'll see what happens a month after she comes back and she starts phoning it in on TV.
Listen, bring back the bodysuits and
That
the
that
big
that
boots and bodysuits.
at first, you're gonna be like, all right, she gotta go again.
I'm a fan. I don't care.
Yeah, all right.
I'm a
All right.
fan.
Hashtag
Uh,
Ryan. Next match: Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu of the Bloodline in a tag team match. This will be.
is this closing the show?
I don't think so. I think it opens.
I think so too.
I think
Feels
it'll
very like let's get this out of the way.
because it's gonna be wild. It's gonna like kick off. I think this will be like the most. This and the Hell in a Cell will be like the most overbooked match on the show. Like it will be like they'll be in the crowd and shit, doing all types of shit.
Cody's supposed to have that band from University of whatever. I don't keep up with college football to have play his music there. So shout out to that.
Okay.
Um, let's see. This feud. I mean,
You know the real problem is that Roman's not on TV every week, and that's why this hasn't really resonated past
will it be
that
on TV this week?
yeah, he's gonna. I think he's gonna be there this week. Yeah.
They're technically not even in Atlanta this week. They're in Nashville. Bad Blood Nashville.
Wasn't there wasn't there a calendar?
Did Roman have a calendar? Let me see.
You sent it to me. You said Roman definitely wrestling.
Oh yeah, hold on. Let me see if Roman. What's Roman's calendar? Roman Reigns, Twitter.
I thought this show was on there. You know what else they've done? They've stopped announcing him on the shows. So like
Oh yeah, they probably pulled the tweet, nigga. Yeah, they definitely pulled the tweet.
Roman Reigns schedule fall 2024. Let's see. Set to work major WWE dates. Where is it? Where is it? Oh yeah, there we go. Scan. No, he's not. He's not on there this week. I was wrong. October 11th. So he'll be on next week, the week after. He'll be on every SmackDown all the way up to Survivor Series.
They should lose just for that.
Yeah, I think looking at that, they're probably going to lose.
But there's nothing for Cody to lose. Like,
will Roman take a top? Well, Cody should not take a pinfall to any of these guys. He literally just beat their leader. He should not be taking pinfalls to these guys.
you think Roman? So Roman's supposed to take the pin?
Took one to Jay. My thing is this, and this goes to people that don't think he'll wrestle on TV or do anything on TV, especially with him being on every TV for a month. For him to work as a babyface, he will have to show up in some capacity and do things that set him apart from being a heel, and that includes him being on TV
And losing. Oh,
I'm not saying losing. I'm saying at least do a match on TV. But I mean, like him losing. I mean, he let Jay beat him. I mean, in order to get like Jacob pinning Roman to me is not far fetched.
this is true.
Like Jacob that's been the match that everyone wants to see. And I'm gonna be real. I don't really want to see that match. At least not right now.
Yeah, not really. No.
I don't really want to.
I have enough of a sample size of this nigga to be like, "Ooh, this is the match I want to see." I'm like, "All right, relax." Think it's the same shit Jeff Hardy does, bro.
Yeah, like 20-minute Jacob Fatu match. I mean, to me, he's just a Samoan Kevin Owens, bro. And we got a better sample size of Kevin Owens than we do Jacob Fatu right now. Just be real.
Let me see. I think I'm gonna go with. Good lord, this is kind of tough. Um, Cody already beat Solo. Let's go. Yeah, I guess the Bloodline would have to win, huh? I'm gonna go with the Bloodline
to,
begrudgingly.
to get their overall heat back, that's what would have to happen. I just brought up a fucking Twitter video on accident.
Well,
I clicked a link that was sent to me by Dom in our group chat, and it auto played.
well,
I'm so mad.
Elon got this shit in a wreck, bro. Um,
Terrible.
trying to
Anyway,
ruin how people block niggas too. I'm like, all right, wrap it up. But I mean, I can't choose, but I'm gonna go with. All right, if I had to do betting odds, betting for sure, I'm choosing Cody and Roman.
yeah, I mean Roman's first match back. It makes sense. So like, yeah, I could realistically see a world where they win. For spiciness, I would say Bloodline, but it's like, I mean, do these guys really need their heat back? Like they pretty much always lose. Hashtag the big one.
Are we?
And
Yeah. Like, where is this going? Is this going to WrestleMania? Should it? Does it deserve to?
I don't want it
Like,
to. My idea is this: like, even if the OG or the new Bloodline aren't as hot as the old ones, I think that the nucleus of Roman and Cody's personalities have made it work for me largely. I think any world where like those two are not involved, I'm not interested, and I think that's where we were over the summertime, where we just weren't interested that much.
I'm gonna go with the Bloodline because I feel like you have to set up the
War games,
plausible deniability for War Games. Yes, that
yeah,
these niggas can beat them.
yeah, and it's four against two, ultimately. So
Yeah, yeah. So
makes sense. What do you think that Bloodline match looks like? Because right now, to me, it's seeming like Cody, Roman, KO, and Randy.
that's what that one makes more sense.
Yeah, it's seeming to me like that. I just don't think Jimmy comes back yet.
And I don't think Jay looks like he having a blast wherever the fuck he at. I
Exactly.
don't
I
know
mean,
why. I don't know why you would upset that.
it's for sure looking like those four, which will be hilarious. It's going to be a hilarious couple of weeks, and that's probably why he has to show up every week on TV to set that up.
Mm,
Oh man, like that's going to be a good story if that's what they're doing. Because like if the idea is that Roman has to kind of reckon with the sins of his past, then those are the two guys that he's like the three guys that he's wronged the most
yeah.
out of
No,
all.
you're right. You're right. I don't see it as a family versus family type of shit anymore now. I think we're past that.
Because even if
Someone said someone said Jimmy showed up at a house show. Was that fake?
might have been Cap. Even if Jimmy did show up, it's still not enough people. Like it's like it would you'd have to put in KO or Randy, and I think the idea is Cody getting KO to agree to do it. Is I
Niggas
think
deleted the tweet. It must have been Cap.
of course it was Cap, but we'll get the Bloodline winning here to set up War Games because I think that if they were going to do the KO or Randy turn, they would do it in that match anyway.
Right.
Um, main event, which I think should be the main event: CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, Hell in a Cell match. I'm gonna be controversial here, man. It could go either way for me.
I gotta go CM Punk. I can't say it go anyway.
I
CM
could,
Punk gotta win.
it could go either way. It could go, the thing is, Punk isn't really hurt if he doesn't win this.
He's not. I mean, he shrugged the shit off the following day. He's like, you know what? Did a lot of things, said a lot of things. You shed blood in there as men. You know, got it out, and
To celebrate the anniversary of this event, will there be a "It's Got to Be Kane" moment?
who would be the
And
Kane?
who would be the Kane? Yeah, it's got to be Kane moment, and who is the Kane?
Actual Kane.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's back from Royal Rumble 2014. He remembered. Um,
The
no,
MAGA hat.
big mega hat on.
Is that a corporate Kane? JD
Uh,
Kane. Uh,
big Vance machine. God damn. Uh, no, I don't think they'll do that. I think
I'm gonna go with Punk, but I would say to keep your to keep your emotions in check in case it doesn't happen. I'll
I
say that.
mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna be sweating either way. But I'm gonna go with Punk.
I'll go with Punk. I think that we could expect a really good match here. I think that it's been built heavily. This is to me, by and this is far and away feud of the year. Let's just
I
be clear.
agree.
This is feud of the year. It's been handled a lot better. Any feud, save for Roman and Cody, which I probably would have to come up with some type of debate with myself on how that beats Cody and Roman. But this is far and away just the best storyline that they've done with Punk and with Drew over the past couple of months. Spanned so many different storylines, and I'm glad to see them saying like this is a definitive. This will end this feud after this match, and I think that just looking at it from a character's perspective, I never thought Drew McIntyre would be one of Punk's greatest foes, just within wrestling, and we finally got that here. Like I think I put him up there with the MJFs and the Cenas of the world, and I think that they really pulled this one off.
Man, he is skilled. He is doing well at his job, and that's all that Punk asked for. Just professionals who are really good at their job. Um, so this has been amazing. This has been a great feud. I look forward to see what both men do post this feud. One of them is not going to be on the show the following week. One of them is going to be like, all right, I'm taking a break. Like, might take off the rest of the year. We
That's,
ain't got enough. Raw 2 hours. I don't need to be here.
I think Punk will take a couple weeks off, but I don't think the full year. No, he'll be back.
Probably for Survivor Series.
I think that's it.
Yeah, because I don't think Punk will go to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, I don't think WWE will be going to Saudi Arabia. You see this fucking news that
Oh
came.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, yeah, so much for that.
Yeah, might need to rethink that next month. No lie.
uh,
Well, that's this month. That's in like 3 weeks, supposedly, right?
yeah, it's like a month away. It's November 2nd.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah, I don't know, guys. We'll see. But that is Bad Blood. And that is this latest episode of the A Show. Thank you, everybody that listened. Thank you to everybody that supports the show every single week. We got to get out of here because we got another show to record. But we'll be back next week to talk about the fallout from Bad Blood, a 2-hour Raw and a 2-hour SmackDown. Thank God for the rest of the year, and NXT's debut on the CW. So until then, for Meelz, I am Justin, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Peace.